Okay, good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning. I'm sorry I had something to eat. Um, so I am available for readings. If there's anybody who wants to come on to have a reading, I am available for readings. I would like to also stress that I have a Patreon that I've set up, which is on. The name is, you have to go to the website patreon.com/spiritual sense. So this is my uh, YouTube channel entitled Spiritual Sense. I consider myself to be a spiritualist, psychic light, nomad, intuitive, self-proclaimed parapsychologist, magic mind medium. Okay. So I have been doing tarot for the last, I say, going on about 5 or 6 years now, and I have gotten very, very comfortable with doing um, spiritual readings is what I like to refer to them as. Tarot card readings ultimately. So I am trying to build my clientele. I'm trying to build my um for those who have an interest in tarot. It is something mystifying. So I'll go ahead and just let you know that um I always have had an interest in the paranormal, occult, supernatural, if you may. And ever since I was a child, because I was able to see things in a spiritual sense, I'm pretty sure the average person is. And I began to question things, question religion, theology, spirituality, and things of that nature. And so I discovered metaphysics, amongst other things, to give me some answers. Okay. So, do I know it all? No, I don't. And I'm going to tell you what it's like to be a medium with psychic abilities. Okay. I think a lot, I watch a lot of the YouTube channels and documentaries on people who have this quote gift. I think we all could be pathetic. Okay. So some of these people who are referring to themselves as psychics or mediums are actually pathetic. However, when you begin to speak of certain terms, some people don't like to hear prophetic or prophet. Just like some people don't like to hear psychic. That's why I refer to myself as a medium. Okay, it's all basically one and the same. All right. But I think mostly we we profess these capabilities. Most people. Some people are more in tune with that energy space than others, particularly if you have invited that energy in. I do believe that, as you go through the milestones in life, God will enlighten you about certain things. All right. But if you have the curiosity to know, I do believe that He will reach you by that. How does it how can one be a medium or a psychic? Well, like I said, I do believe it's a gift. And I'm going to also mention that the way it works is it's images. Like, you got to realize that we are in a consciousness, if that makes sense to anybody. Our thoughts are by way of the universe. So images that we see on the TV, out in public, in everyday life experience, God will give you a innate third eye, something you hadn't even thought about or even fathom. And this is how He hones your third eye, or your tapping into a higher sensibility, is a consciousness, if that makes sense to anybody. So I could just be walking, minding my business, and all of a sudden He'll just start putting a song, or He may put a movie or what have you in, and then there's different snapshots, like a download of the spirit. That's the only way I can explain it. I refer to it as medium because you are in this physical existence. However, you're tapping into a consciousness apart from this physical existence. You're into a spiritual spectrum, if that makes any sense to anybody. Um, the only way you will understand it is to go through it. That's the only way I can put it to you. I feel as though in this life experience, not everyone would get it. Like not everybody would get to that higher vibrational um, energy space, and that's okay. Maybe you have a spiritual transition, maybe you'll grasp that or be enlightened at that time. So I think to be deemed or called a medium or a psychic or prophet or what have you, such as that, is when God has given you that sensibility. Although we all have that capability, I think when it happens more frequently is what I'm getting at, because we are on a frequency. If that makes sense to anybody, we are on a frequency in this life experience, and energy spaces happens in different frequencies, kind of similarly to a radio frequency. We turn a radio on, an old radio, and the reason why I'm mentioning this because I was looking at spirit boxes, and because I'm looking as far to get one. But when you begin to turn on the radio and you listen to the different frequencies and things of that nature, so that's basically how that existence communicates with us in this existence, if that makes sense. So, saying that to say, um, when a person has made a transition, they're they become a part of an existence of a consciousness, and so they're not able to formulate how they were in human form, right? So the communication may be thrown off, and do bear with me. The communication may be thrown off in terms of how the words are presented, if that makes sense to you. All right. Um, so I learned this in watching other psychics from being a teenager, that sometimes there may be a change in a letter or wording, if that makes sense to anybody. But ultimately, to be a medium or psychic is when you're able to get the coding as to what they're saying or trying to relate, if that makes sense. Like, they're in a consciousness. They're in another spectrum. They are still here, but they're in a different level of consciousness. And they're not able to communicate as they was in human form. So a medium or a psychic is able to interpret that language. Now, am I able to tap into that all the time? No, I'm not. I'm not. I do believe it's a gift, it's a skill. Um, or what have you, and um, and that's that. I do believe we all possess that capability. I do, but how consistent of that capability is the key factor, I believe. Um, so if there's anybody viewing in or tuning in, send me a message if you're wanting a reading. I do have the Patreon set up there. Again, you can go on patreon.com/spiritual sense. All right, so uh, in the past, I had some people to chime in, and it kind of threw me off. And I think what it was I wasn't prepared. I actually didn't think people were watching, and I do find that people are watching. It's just that they're not letting me know, which is totally fine. Um, but if you are wanting a reading, I'm going to tell you, for those who are truly wanting a reading, okay? Because I'm not on here soliciting and anything of that nature. It's truly strictly for what I'm presenting here, okay? All right. I do truly have an interest in the paranormal. A lot of people stigmatize blacks in terms of the paranormal, occult, and supernatural, but you'll be very surprised as to how many of us who have an interest in it. You'll be very surprised as a number of us who have a disconnect from what is culturally acceptable or traditional, if that makes sense to anybody. And do bear with me, I have a affinity to eating cornstarch. So if you see it around my lips and whatnot, that's what that is. Okay. Um, but to be off into Scientology, metaphysics, atheism, and whatever your faith belief or practice is, I think oftentimes you're shunned, particularly in the Black community, because we are taught to be traditional. You're either Southern Baptist, Jehovah Witness, Methodist, or something of the sort. So to be anything apart from those few religions that I mentioned is ostracized oftentimes. And oh my God, to speak of voodoo and hoodoo and paranormal, you're going to hell. No, no. Because I'm going to put it in layman's term. Um, Religion is man. That means it's based on this physical existence. All right. Spirituality is a part of, or despite of. All right. Contrary to. So, um, if you come into disagreement with those who are within this physical spectrum, then it would manifest into something in terms of a transition, spiritual transition, which essentially is biological death. So, in other words, if you offend people and you're not in agreement, some people have a hard time with people having their own ideology or opinion. Like you're supposed to think and feel how I think and feel, and that's that. Even as a grown person, we don't give a damn where you went to school at. That's the wrong way to be. I understand under a commonality, a common goal in terms of a job, but we all have our own individualism. All right, and freedom of speech is a choice. Is not optional. All right. Now, how the words are conveyed, it being offensive or cursing, okay, yes, we understand that. All right. So, in saying that, um, at one point in time, I did entertain the thought of atheism, and I could very well be put into that category. And I'm not going to necessarily sit and say that it's right or wrong. If you call me an atheist, I would not be offended by it at all, because a lot of what has presented to me in this life experience would mimic an atheist even. All right. The revelation that has come to me in terms of duality and para, this equates to this. Like this equates to that. Um, I do believe there was a Jesus that walked some time ago in another existence or another land space. And forgive me, I got these flappy arms. I don't like big arms, but I'm gonna work on them. But I also believe that God has a way of using us to relate thoughts, if that makes sense. So, in reference to my podcast, I give you my spiritual sense about the Jesus agenda or the God complex and my sense of it all. What I feel and what has came to me when I had my near-death experience. Okay, my near-death experience was different than the average near-death experience, where it was light and they had the light at the end of the tunnel and things of that nature. Mine was a little bit more. Um, was no light at no end of the tunnel. It was dark. But I'm not going to say anything to the contrary to those who experience light at the end of the tunnel and this beaming light and all of this other stuff, because you only can relate it to what is presented to you. And that's what this life experience is all about, this life journey. You only are able to relate or to convey, is what I'm getting at, how it presents to you. Okay? How things present to you versus the next individual may not necessarily be the same way. Why? Because we are in a learning experiences like experience. We are in a spiritual journey. Okay, we are on a path to consciousness, and we come here to expand on that consciousness, if that makes sense to anybody. And oftentimes we can get in a trance to where we are being pulled in and out of that consciousness, if that makes sense. So I do believe that certain things can elicit that trance and that knowing. Drugs would be one thing, and I'm not saying this to condone the use of drugs, but these are some things that have come to me: traumas, medical infirmities, alcoholism, certain medications can be mind altering, and God does give us a sensibility. Near-death experiences, again, traumas. So I cannot judge the next man or woman as to how things has presented to you. You will only know based on your journey and the purpose of you being in this life experience. Okay, so I cannot say it's right nor wrong. Honestly, wholeheartedly. All right. So, for those who may be listening in or tuning in, if you're wanting a reading, you can come on my uh, YouTube channel, which is Spiritual Sense, and we can do a reading. All right, one question, one question reading. All right, all righty. So we're going to proceed with, and I'm not soliciting. This is strictly for entertainment purposes. It's strictly for entertainment purposes. It's a pastime. It is. I have a strong interest in this. So I would say donations. If you say donations, then it can take, it can change the trajectory as to how people would perceive what it is you're doing, because I'm not soliciting anybody and doing this, okay? All right, so I'm going to do a three chord. This is a general reading, a general reading. Now, I do my set readings on Sundays, Tuesdays and Thursdays. But I said, you know what? Today is Saturday. I could just get up and do a live stream and see who comes in. See who comes in who wants to read them. You can do a one chord, one question, a one question reading. All right. All righty. So I don't know who's listening in or tuning in. I got 373. 373. What's the significance of three? Groups, expansion, and expression. So I honestly feel as though somebody is wanting to express something, is what I feel. You're wanting to express something in terms of communication with the other side. Something lets me know it's a brother. I don't know. You don't even have to, whoever this is for, you don't have to comment, because I do respect privacy, okay? And if we do readings, I really prefer that it's online, but if you don't want it to be online, that's totally fine. How would you be able to communicate with me? You will have to send your information through a chat. That's the only way. And we could do a reading via, I don't prefer to give out my number. Now, when I did set up my Spiritual Sense Facebook, in order for me to set up that alternate Facebook, it was required that I put a number in. Now, I could have simply put a bogus number in, but that takes away from the authenticity and trust. All right? But I do feel as though this is someone who's tapping in. You're wanting to communicate with a brother that is no longer here. I'm going to follow the term and the logo. Take it as it resonates. I do feel as though this brother has transitioned over, because I get threes as expression. This person is wanting to express something. Seven, I get insight, spirituality, and contemplation. So I don't know if this brother died as a result of something medically, but we would be able to tap into that in a little bit. I get the works card here. Works. I get works. I don't know if it was something that happened when this person was on the job and they end up something medically happening to them and then they transition at the job or on the way to the hospital from the job. I don't know. I'm just reading it as it may because it's this planet has what billions of people on this planet. It can resonate with anybody. Okay. I have seven debauch. Debauch. If you take a look at that card, what do you see on that card there? So there was some I think that there was some belief that it could have very well been um, something related to alcohol. That's what they thought, that it was possibly something related to alcohol. Debauch means, let's go to debauch. What does debauch means? Give me just a moment. Destroy, debase, the moral purity, or corrupt. Sensual pleasures, indulging in, especially eating and drinking. So I honestly feel as though, and here, take a look. I believe that that's what they was thinking because we got on contemplation here. Number seven. This is what they was thinking that this transpired. This doubt. I do believe it was a doubt. They felt as though that it transpired as a result of possibly some substances. As you would know, whenever there is any type of accident on a job, the first thing they're going to do is do an alcohol drug test. That's a given, because of liability and things of that nature. I want to say it's medically with this person. That's what I'm going to say. I have sorrow here. Sorrow. Um, Whoever is chiming in or whoever may listen to this video or watch this video or what have you, um, I do believe a message is coming through with this person. This person is wanting to communicate. I probably should get my spirit because I have an app. It's called Spirit Talk, and it's similarly to like a spirit box where you're able to tap into the energy space of those who have transitioned over. And the app is okay. I mean, it's okay. It's free. But I do aspire to get a spirit box. And why is that? Because I had a vision of something of the sort some years ago. Because I think this would be my niche. So I do aspire to get one of those spirit boxes. I do, believe it or not. Um, God gave me a sensibility about how that works. So for those who have a curiosity into knowing how a spirit box works, I'm gonna tell you how a spirit box works. Okay. So to those who want to debunk spirit box, all right. The spirit box is tapping into conversations from this person by way of God. God has a way of putting us in trances and we'll begin to speak prophecy without even knowing it. A lot of people would say, oh, that's just gibberish and crazy, whatever, what have you. Okay? Like my grandmama told me years ago, God can speak through a baby. Okay, so that's basically what it is to when you have a spirit box. You get in the recordings of the person who speaks about what God has related to them and is put in radio form. You will oftentimes find that if you sit back and pay attention, premonitions come by way of trances. Even, it makes me think of the song with Tony Braxton, said, "You talking in his sleep," because I used to talk in my sleep, and my sister did as well. And this is how God gives you a sensibility. This is the spirit speaking through you. So a spirit box is the same way. It's simply getting those recordings of them when they go in these trances, because this is a prophetic message, and then it's going to be related over to the spirit box. So that's basically what it is. Now, whether it comes out in their actual sound, no. It may be a sound that is similarly to um, them. But that's basically what the spirit box is. So that's just to let you know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that I'm doing a topic, and then I'm just doing a reading in addition to the topic, okay? And that topic is today is speaking about um, spirit boxes, mediumship, or what have you, just a general talk. But I do feel as though this is a brother. Whoever is tuning in, this is your brother, and he's communicating in by way of these cards. All right. Now, do I feel a sense of him being here? I don't. I don't. But I'm gonna tell you, when you are a quote medium, God will have you study, and then He's just implementing these images in, if that makes sense. Like you'll be prompted to go do your tarot card reading, and then He's working on the mind, if that makes sense. All right, and it will be for someone. All right, that's how it works. Um, so I do feel as though this brother has a message for you, that they are at peace. You may have wondered about, because I get the sensibility that you are feeling sorrow, that you're feeling sorrow. They are at peace. Something lets me know they come around. I mean, we have the same similar themes. Um, him and a grandmother comes around is what it lets me know, and they come around by way of flowers. Sensibility of flowers. That's a commonality. That's a commonality. You begin to get a sensibility of flowers. And what's so funny about it is you are not a flower like me. I'm not a flower person in terms of I like plants, but I'm not a big flower person. And that's how you would know that it's not you, it's not in your mind. Because a lot of times people think that you are showing some sense of prejudice or uh, favoritism or bias. Partiality is what I'm getting at. Um, I get sunglasses here. Watch and look and stalking, gaslighting, perception, focusing out. Something lets me know that this person here, and this is where the works is. He felt a little bit of, he was a little bit paranoid. I don't know what type of work he did. I don't know, but something lets me know that he did not feel secure in his job. If that makes sense to anybody, he did not feel secure in his job even. I don't know if he had some type of dangerous type of job. Could have very well been a job that was outside where there was a lot of strenuous activities or whatever the case may be. But something lets me know that There were some tension in whatever he did, if that makes sense. Some tension in what he did in his job in terms of his role, what have you. There was some clashes. I'm showing. It's what it lets me know. Like personality, a little couple of spats and disputes is what it lets me know. I have date here. Date. Um, I feel as though something were insignificant with the date. And I'm not, even though this is my love cards or what have you, it was something significant with the date. I honestly feel as though your brother, whoever this reading is for, had a premonition. That's what it lets me know. Something lets me know he had a premonition. And I'm going to tell you how I know this. I feel as though it was something going on in this area, the heart chakra area. He was under a lot of strenuous stress. He was. Um, I get addiction here. I don't believe it's addiction as we would know addiction would be. I think it was um, bad habits, like me with the smoking. I'm not necessarily addicted, but it's a bad habit. I think his thing was food, if that makes any sense. Something shows me that he's a heavy set person, a heavy set person. And believe it or not, something happened with this person. I don't think this person was always this way. Something happened with this person. This person turned um, against himself and began to self-sabotage. This person was very angry, as well as me know. He was very angry, but they are at peace now. They were not happy, so it lets me know. But I do feel as though they're at peace now. All right. But I do show that there is some self sabotage, like some type of self sabotage. Something doesn't let me know that it's anything um, in terms of illegal substances. They could have very well had something that was prescription related. Like I don't feel as though it was anything illegal that this person was taking, if that makes sense to anybody. I believe ultimately it was this person's diet. It was their unhealthy eating choices, which contributed to the strain on the body and being in certain jobs, being around certain spirits would facilitate that demise. Something lets me know that they knew that this person was not going to be on this job long. They got this person on the job so this person could change, and the person did not want to change his habits. So in turn, there was a couple of spats. What lets me know. Alrighty, let's go ahead and pull out some past history. Let me see. I'm gonna pull out four past history cards. Um, it's four persecution and in acquisition. This person felt as though I think this person might have felt harassed. If that makes sense to anybody, like this person felt harassed. Like people was um, harassing them, mocking them, and taunting them. And I think it affected them emotionally as well as physically. That's what I feel. And then this transition ensued. Let's go ahead. Form. So something lets me know you come from humble beginnings. I have the form part here. Humble beginnings. I have authority figures. This person has a problem. It shows me with authority, meaning people in management authority. This person I felt was being ostracized. That's what it lets me know. This person was being ostracized and or what have you. Something shows me some spats, some arguments, some battles going back and forth. Is what it lets me know. And excuse me, I do apologize. Spirituality and religion. I think some church folks got involved with it. So it lets me know. Or whomever you are in a spiritual related group, may not necessarily be religion. It could be something like Eastern Star or Mason or something of that nature. Some type of union got involved. That's what lets me know. Something lets me know that this is common in this town. You take care, you get mine, I get yours. To be honest with you, it's reverse psychology. And it took somebody who really truly understands and knows spirit to come in and see what is being done. Because I reference to me speaking, I want to say it was last week or even the week before last that I was watching YouTube and a case came up regarding a case that transpired some years ago. And instantly it showed me like people in a coliseum and they just going, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like pushing up certain things. I refer to it as media spirits. And what is media spirits? Media spirits, I feel, are individuals that um, blow things out of proportion, read more into things than what it is, go by gossip as opposed to facts, to perpetuate a transition. And once you begin to see in that existence, that's what a lot of deaths that transpired during slave times is what God reveals to me. It's such as that. You get mine, I get yours. And they'll play the race card or what have you while they go on and go on by their way. And once God has honed your spiritual sight, Sambo, um, Jim Crow, and all of that, you will see it for what it is. These are spirits. These are spirits. All right? And so the coming about of certain spirit-related job fields are such as that. And the media came into existence to capture these spirits and how they operate. So that's basically what that is. I think that's a little bit of, and it's taunting spirits, a little bit of what transpired with your brother is what it lets me know. He was under a lot of stress. Something happened with this person to where um, he began to self-sabotage and turn against himself is what it lets me know. All right. Now let's get the Celtic cards out. Let's go ahead and get the Celtic cards out. And we're going to do thoughts, faith, and belief. Yeah, so you'll be very surprised as to how that energy space works. If you ask God to reveal it, it's going to reveal itself. And you're going to oftentimes find that they'll sit and play the race card, but they all on the same team. You got angels and demons in all spectrums of the matter. Plain and simple. All right? And when it's time to depopulate, they all jump on board and they come in suit. It's more similarly to role playing or even acting. All right? Okay. Now, God gave me this sensibility some time ago. 1, 2, and 3. So I do feel as though you have it on a lot of jobs, um, many jobs present those same energy spaces. You get mine, I get yours. So once that spiritual sense has came to you, you'll get it. You'll get what it is. Don't fall for Satan and his shit. You understand? They want to talk about some shit they really don't care anything about. All right? Okay. So I have 5 of wands here. This person was under a lot of stress. You see that? Fiery stress. Wands. Wands has a lot to do with the life force. Relates to willpower, life force, passion, creativity, ego, and personality. So again, there was some clashes that was going on with this person. Some clashes that was going on with this person because of being harassed and being taunted. Right? The next card I have is in the opposite. I have 8 of Pentacles in the opposite. Pentacles has a lot to do with material aspects of life, career, finances, business, and possession. It has nothing to do with this person's finances. No. It has nothing to do with financial. Is what it lets me know. I think because of beating around the bush. I think because of, I did a podcast episode as well as a visual presentation about telling on God. Oftentimes, when people feel as though you're contrary to what we're trying to project, we don't care anything about you being real. You're gonna do what we tell you to do, or you can go on. So I think the image that they was trying to uh, produce or present, this person didn't fit that mold. And it was like, okay, come on, kind of like the turtle in the race with the rabbits. And the turtle is slow poking around. Come on, you need to keep up. And the person simply didn't want to, so they began these taunts with this person. Similarly to the movie Full Metal Jacket, for those who are out there, um, the movie comes to mind, Full Metal Jacket, where they're going through the obstacle course for the basic training, and then you got this slow poke that can't get aboard or whatever the case may be. Yeah. The next card I have here, I have 2 of Wands. 2 of Wands. So, 2 relates to unity, balance, and partnerships. Wands relates to willpower and life force, passion, creativity, ego, and personality. Okay. I think this person became very afraid. Is what that lets me know. I honestly feel as though he had a premonition. God had forewarned him. And I want to say, with the advent of social media and things of that sort, um, I don't know if this person has a social media or any type of recording. But if you go back and review it, you can very well possibly see some energy in the room to facilitate that this person, death is on this person. And this is how God happens. This is it. It's not a joke. It's the real deal. You got some people that try to taunt you to get you to be something that you don't want to be and say something or what have you. It's all based on what you will accept. I think he allowed it because this person self-sabotage against himself. That's what it lets me know. All right. So of course I'm not going to do a soul's purpose card, but I am going to. I think you're going to you yourself need to heal from this because something lets me know you are grieving over this. You are grieving over this situation, perhaps. Believe it or not. You're grieving over this situation. Um, Look, let me explain something to you. Death is not an easy thing to deal with. We all will have to experience death, whether it's our own or someone we know, or whatever the case may be. So it's not an easy thing to have to encounter or even deal with. It's not. But what I am going to tell you is, um, I think this person wants you to take what happened with them as a learning tool to get yourself together. And as I speak to you, I speak to me. I'm not judging. I'm just basically going off of as the courts may. I do feel that way. Um, I got my cards all discombobulated. Give me just a moment. All right. This person could have very well had a disconnect from God. He didn't believe God. Began to feel as though God was not real, and he could not trust God. And let me just tell you, uh, um, like as I said before, I don't judge people who are atheists. At one point in time, I said I used to, blab off. How can you be an atheist? Da, da, da. It took me to go through some things in life to gain insight as to what it is. So, um, I think this person, was I have the spirituality and religion card here. He had some struggles with a belief in God, as we know God to be. All right. Um, and I think the reason being the point that I'm making is this, because I do believe God is an illusionist. I know that breaks your heart. I do. I do. When it's your time, okay, He will get you prepared. All right. Take it how it resonates, as I heard a couple of them say. He will. He's the illusionist. I mean, yeah. All right. Let me pull out some information. I do believe that this person had a um, start to take on an impression of someone in family history. So I got this card pulled up here. We're going to proceed to uh, family history. It is a major arcana card. So let's go down to the major arcana card. Alrighty. Magician. Bingo. All right. It says will. It's the first card of the major arcana cards. Will letter Athom A. Number one. All right. So it says A equals one and expresses in the divine world the absolute being, which contains and from which it emanates the infinite of possibles. In the intellectual world, it is unity, the principle and synthesis of numbers and will, the principle of actions. In the physical world, it is man, the highest of the relative beings, called to elevate himself for perpetual expansion of his faculties to the concentric spheres of the absolute. The Arcana 1 is represented by the magician, an example of a perfect type of man that is in full possession of his physical and moral faculties. He has been painted standing in an attitude of will ready for action. He is clothed in white, symbol of original and reattained pureness. A serpent biting its tail served as his belt, the symbol of eternity. His forehead is bound by a circle of gold. Gold signifies light, and the circle expresses the universal circumference within which created things gravitate. His right hand holds a gold scepter, implying command that that he raises towards the heavens in a sign of aspiration towards wisdom, science, and strength. The index finger of his left hand points towards the ground, signifying that the mission of perfect man is to reign over the material world. This double gesture also expresses the fact that human will must reflect down below divine will in order to produce good and impede evil. There is a cup, a sword, and shekel or gold coin, in the middle of which a cross has been engraved in front of the magician on a cubic stone. The cup signifies a mixing of the passions that contribute to happiness or unhappiness according to whether we are their masters or slaves. The sword signifies work, struggle against obstacles, and the trials that pain makes us suffer. The shekel, symbol of determined value, portrays aspirations, realized completed works, the sum of power, conquered by will's perseverance and efficiency. The cross, seal of the infinite, that marks the shekel, announces the future essention of this power to the spheres of the future. So it goes on to mention, remember, O son of earth, that man must act like God without pause. To want nothing or to do nothing is no less grievous than to want or to do evil. Let me read that again. To want. Sometimes I say want when I mean want. To want nothing or to do nothing is no less grievous than to want or to do evil. If the magician appears among the prophetic signs of your horoscope, he is announcing that strong will and faith in yourself, guided by reason and love for justice, will lead you to the objective you want to reach and will persevere or preserve you from danger on your way. All right? So basically, this is a warning. I think spirit or source or God wants it to be conveyed, that if you pay attention to these different things in life, these things too shall pass, and you will see a commonality of certain things. God will show you a prequel to what may manifest, because I do believe this has happened in the past. And your brother was susceptible to that. So as we think about the movie Final Destination in terms of death, there is an art to death. There also is an art to defeating death, if that makes sense to anybody. So the positive mentions initiative, this dexterity, astuteness, political skills, diplomacy, ability, autonomy, refusal of any suggestion or prejudice, start of sentimental, professional, or economic undertakings. So I'm just relaying the message. It's applicable to whomever. You know, I kept, all this week, I've been having my aunt, one of my great aunts, on my spirit for whatever reason. But I do believe it could be personally for myself, of course, in terms of my family and culture. But I think through the cycle of life, we all have a theme in this life, if that makes sense. Now, this is what comes towards you: unscrupulously ambitions, swindler, profiteer, liar, charlatan, will at the service of evil editors note. That's what it has here. So, um, I am going to say that um, the message to you in this reading is to be just be conscientious. There's nothing to make you afraid. To be conscientious in terms of your health and your stress level, and um, not to let anybody make you feel any type of fear regarding what yeah, regarding status and what have you. All right, that's the ultimate goal, I feel. All right, now, so let's pull out the healing oracle. Goodness, I honestly feel as though that green there, when I do my chakras, the green is a representation of the heart. So that is confirmation that this person transitioned by way of something heart related as a result of diet. As I speak to you, I speak to me. I'm not gonna sit here and I'm not. I can't tell nobody. I mean, I can tell you, but I also can tell myself. So, in other words, it's done without prejudice. It's the point. It's done without judgment. It says, I refine my character and overcome difficulties by remaining positive. I calm my heart and illuminate my intellect, intellect to transform shadow into light. I consciously manifest goodness in and around me. I improve my qualities for the benefit of all. So I'm not judging you. I'm not. Okay. But I just come in and then I just relate the message. It's just that simple. But I do believe that this transpired in a work setting. Something was going on. This person was stressed with their work, is what it lets me know. They were stressed in terms of what they did for a living. They was not happy with what they did. I feel as though they felt as though they were not able to stay on routine. Like something lets me know that they was ensuring me an image to where they was not on routine. Like they couldn't do anything on schedule. If I tried to watch my eating habits, if I tried to um, make better choices, somehow I was put in, it got thrown off. This person worked a job that I feel as though was a strenuous outdoor job, and they were not afforded those, um, it wasn't readily available. Like they could have went to get the proper things, but it wasn't readily, it wasn't convenient, is the point that I'm getting at, if that makes sense. Something lets me know they were not happy with what they did. They self-sabotaged, turned against themselves, and made some unhealthy eating choices. So let's go now. All right, so what does this, by way of this angel card, what they're wanting to convey? Well, let me focus. Let me focus. I think I'm focused on this one. I'll go with this one. Teaching and learning. Again, I think what transpired with this person is a teachable moment and a learning moment as well. This person wants you to know that you need to be aware of your stress levels and things that trigger you to get you in, to do some unfavorable things. That is not kosher. It's not right. You need to be more aware and conscientious of your health. Ultimately, is what they're wanting you to know. As I speak to you, I speak to me. Teaching and learning, Archangel Zachiel, keep an open mind and learn new ideas, then teach these ideas to others. So that's the ultimate thing. And again, I'm not judging. I just simply came in here and I said, okay, let me go ahead and I'm going to lay my cards down. And then I'm going to see if I'm able to bring in, which I have not, but I presume somebody is watching. Well, it doesn't indicate up there that anybody is watching. So, but if you are wanting a reading, I would be more than happy to do a reading. I think what I'm trying to do now is it's not necessarily that I'm trying to convince, persuade, or even dissuade you away from tarot cards, but you will be very surprised how God works. Because when I'm prompted, like right now, I can feel me being pulled in my heart. Now, of course, I've been smoking cigarettes or whatever, what have you. But this is how God simulates to me what a person was experiencing. And then I proceed to do my reading. And then it all come in flow, if that makes sense. All right? So that's how it's conveyed in my world. All right? Um, so uh chakra. Focus on your heart chakra. I feel as though your heart chakra is going to be something you would need to focus on. This information is readily available online, but I do have the Holistic Health and Wellness podcast on YouTube. And again, I pulled this information out offline about how you can balance the chakras. Get you some hibiscus tea and put you some ginger and garlic in there and drink it consistently for a week and see what things manifest change for you. Because there could be something going on uh, with you in terms of your heart. Do that. I promise to God, do it. Get you some breath mints. A lot of people don't like garlic and the taste of ginger. I was one of those. I couldn't stand ginger some years ago. Garlic, yeah, but ginger, get you some breath mints. All right. So I am going to conclude this talks of spirit boards. What else I talked about? Mediumship. What it's like to um, take on these impressions in terms of mediumships. So if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, or if you're wanting to get a reading, just send a post a message. I think I got it where it notifies me when I get messages, and then we can proceed. Until then, have a second wonderful day. Good day.